Well, welcome back. Investigators in Michigan continue to search for answers following an apparently random series of shootings last night in Kalamazoo. An Uber driver, 45-year-old Jason Brian Dalton, is accused of killing 6 people, critically injuring 2 more, all while he picked up passengers in between the killings. He was arrested this morning. Let's talk more about this with our CNN legal analyst Philip Holloway and Matthew Horace, who is a security expert. Good to see both of you. So, Philip, you first. The suspect was an Uber driver, but apparently had no known criminal record. So what can be done in terms of evaluating drivers by, Uber evaluations, or at the same time hold any real liability against Uber?
The question becomes whether and to what extent Uber actually does any meaningful background investigation on drivers, presumably, and I think it's been reported they do driving history and things like that. And of course, I think we now know this shooter had no criminal history, right? So they wouldn't have found anything if they had looked. But the question is, though, do they have to do ongoing evaluations? Do they have to do anything that will assure the public that they are continuously monitoring the well-being, even the mental well-being of their drivers, people that basically are representatives of the Uber brand? So it raises real questions of whether or not Uber might have been negligent in supervising and or hiring this individual in the first place.
Oh my gosh. And so, Horace, now, of course, the investigation continues. It really is heightening, trying to figure out the motivation, how he allegedly was able to carry this through. What do you see the sequence of events right now in this investigation?
Well, Frederica, as you know, this was psychopathic in nature. This individual killed people and went back to work and dealt and interacted with more people. The police have to interview his family, his friends, his close associates, and they have to try to determine what happened here. We understand a background check was done for him to drive for Uber. Was he suffering from mental illness? Was he taking medication? Did something happen most recently to cause him to go into this psychopathic rage?
And then, Philip, how would, in the state of Michigan, this kind of case be prosecuted? He is in custody.
Well, it's interesting to note that Michigan doesn't have the death penalty, so the maximum he can get is life in prison. He could have killed 5, 10, 15, 20, or 100 people, and the most he could really get effectively is a life sentence. But to the point of how this is going to be investigated, yes, I think it's probable that investigators are going to look back into his background in the recent past and see if there was some traumatic event that caused some type of psychotic break, because you don't go from giving somebody an Uber ride and letting them out, then going down the street.
Right,
and,
that behavior
and
in between has to be notable.
It has to be, but it's easily documentable because Uber is a GPS-based application, and Uber knows who it was he picked up and drove during these many hours, and so it's going to be easy to identify them and talk to them to find out just what his state of mind was. So if there is any good news, it's that I think the police will be able to identify what probably was going on with him psychiatrically.
And then, of course, Horace, as investigators do reach out to the people, those fares in between these, alleged, these killings by this, alleged gunman here, how might that dictate or even help determine his mental state? And that, of course, could potentially then dictate, the road of prosecution.
Well, when they speak to those people who were in that car, they may or may not say that they noticed anything that was out of the ordinary. We all agree that it was very psychotic to pick up passengers, kill someone, pick up passengers, and go back and kill someone. But police are going to be on the trail. I understand the FBI is involved right now, and they hopefully over the next couple of days or weeks, they'll determine what this motive was and why this happened.
All right. Thank you so much to both of you gentlemen. Appreciate it.